Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they're here to give you updates on future projects. So let's make some new friends today. So a little about me, I moved to Tucson about 15, 16 years ago, but the real trick is I moved here twice. I lived here for a little while, about 2.5 years, had a great time, but I moved away, tried North Carolina, checked out Asheville, tried some other areas, but Brooklyn, but nothing was really Tucson. And a friend of mine said, Powers, you've been looking for Tucson the entire time since you left. It's right here, man. And it's the truth that I fit into Tucson more than I ever did New York, which is why I moved back. You see, there's a documentary about New York. You all might have seen it. It's called Ghostbusters 2. And the river of slime is real. It's a horrible place, and it's hard to fit in. It's hard to get along. It's hard to find the people that are like-minded like you, the nicest guy, PMA, all this stuff that I'm all about. New York's a tough place. And if I was a Venn diagram, I would say that I'm made up of equal parts a love of art, community, eventing, and educating, as well as having fun. And it's really when I moved to Tucson that I felt like I fit in, because there are places that exemplify these exact sentiments in the Old Pueblo, and I found my favorite place just last year. The Southern Arizona Arts and Cultural Alliance is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the creation, preservation, and advancement of the arts. SAACA strengthens the bond between people, place, and purpose through collaborative arts-driven experiences. And today, I'm fortunate enough to speak with Jonathan Frahm, Marketing and Events Manager of Southern Arizona Arts and Cultural Alliance. Jonathan, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you so much, Frank. And what an amazing intro. It was so great to learn a little bit more about you. And it's funny, we led similar lives, although on different sides of the coast, because I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area as a kid. Turns out that the events of George of the Jungle, the 1997 film set in San Francisco, are in fact true, much like Ghostbusters 2, so I moved back on to Tucson.
No kidding.
Been rocking it ever since. Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah. So how long have you been living in Tucson?
I've been here for about 15 years now.
Okay. Yep. It's about same as me to a degree, yeah.
Yeah, with a little bit of moving back and forth, too.
Yep,
California
same thing.
Here and there, and kind of spat us back out the last time. And
so what is it? So what brought you back to Tucson? Is it just that you feel, like I say, I try to tell everybody that this place is the baby bear's porridge. It's just right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our arts and cultural scene and just fitting in. I feel like I fit in more here than anywhere.
So let's talk a little bit about you before we even talk about SAACA. What kind of artist are you? What do you do as far as creativity and getting along in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a kid, I always felt like I had a creative spark. I was the kid who drew outside of the lines on the coloring book and made my own little sketches and whatnot, to the chagrin of some of my teachers. But it all came around full circle in sixth grade when I had a teacher named Mrs. Paxton, who was gracious enough to see that I had talent in creative writing. We had an assignment saying, let's Jonathan, create a script for a short story, give us your pitch. It's like, okay, I'll type this out. It's like 100, 200 words. And that turned into actually creating, like week by week, this weekly assignment, actually cultivating the story for a semester, which then became my first and currently only published book.
Wow.
So from in the artistic world, I call myself an author, and I think that fits me awfully well.
Heck yeah.
Then moving to Tucson, I brought my writing into the freelance scape and have written for most of the local publications and some national ones about primarily about music and the arts.
My friend, like one of my best friends, Joel Foster, he's a writer here in town, and I always actually give him a lot of credit. Like, I'm a freelance artist, a visual artist. It's a little easier because a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And it's easy to be like, here, look what I can do for you, and hold up a flyer. Here's the other flyers I've done. I've always been a little actually not a little, but a lot, very impressed by writers and freelance writers. How do you really convince someone to hire you as a writer, to write for them?
Right. You know what? I don't really know. You kind of just get along in this town long enough, and people start to say, hey, that's that guy, and he writes about this thing, and there you go.
Yeah, you just got to connect those dots.
Yeah.
Again, that's the size of the community that things work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the way that you're going to get successful, remember, it's not what you know, it's who you know. In Tucson, that works. You can really get connected, and people will know who you are.
Right.
That you become top of brand when they think of a certain thing. I realized a few years ago through various organizations that would tell me. They said, we were having a meeting, and then someone said, we need like a wacky, enough said, I'm top of brand for wacky in town to a lot of people. We know this wacky MC, this wacky host, right?
Right.
And that term just kind of follows me, that when people say wacky to other organizations in town, they think Frank. You know, so it's a crazy thing. So that's how it works here. When some people think of writing to you or writing, they think of you. And then that's how you get connected. Like, I know a guy, just give him a call.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty interesting. So now let's talk about the organization you work for. How long have you been with SAACA?
So I've been volunteer. I've been aware of SAACA for a number of years. They were actually back in 2012 when I moved back after my last stint in the Bay Area. I attended a couple of SAACA concerts up in Oro Valley and wrote about them. So those were the first kind of forays into my music beat out in Tucson. So I've been aware of the organization for a long time and have loved what they do. Volunteered here and there over the years, the last decade, but I just started in this position with SAACA actually about 7 months ago. So as far as in-office dealings are, I am the baby of the crew.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, good, because they need to be hiring more staff regardless. I hang out with the group a lot, and they need to be paying more. I know it's a mostly volunteer group,
It is.
but this is a great organization, and getting some of the folks as figureheads that are real employees are the ones that are really going to drive it and help it grow. Good timing for that, because again, not much events for 2020 and even 2021. We're kind of crawling at a snail's pace. I do a lot of events. I have now watched how this past year, 2023, in a way, we're back. Because the Festival of Books, record numbers. Tucson Comic-Con, record numbers. Every event I go to, even if it's the Taco, Tequila, and Salsa Challenge that I believe was you guys, record numbers. So events are back. How have you enjoyed the position in the last 7 months?
I really enjoy it. This is kind of, it feels like the culmination of my life's work in a way. I've strived to give a voice to those who I can in the artistic community. And this enables me to do so at a greater level with SAACA, amazing organization, especially, considering that Arizona is one of very few states without permanent funding for the arts.
I know.
So, So without that state funding, you'll see Scottsdale or Glendale and putting their own local funding mechanisms for arts and culture. Here in Tucson and throughout southern Arizona, we don't really have that. So SAACA's kind of the in-between. We were created out of a necessity to be a mediator between arts and cultural influences and the greater community, whether that be working with local governments, local businesses to make these events happen.
One might even call you a catalyst. No one gets that joke yet. We'll get to it. But you should go to the Tucson Mall and you will get to it. You'll get to Catalyst. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's talk about events, because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And there's a big event coming up. It's the Oro Valley Festival of the Arts and Holiday Tree Lighting Celebration. It's the essence of creative placemaking, cultivating the arts as an essential part of Oro Valley's identity. The two-day festival is one of Southern Arizona's largest community arts celebrations, with over 130 artisans, over 30 performances by students and local musicians, family art activities, food trucks, the TUBACHRISTMAS holiday play-along, which I'm so pumped about.
Me too.
And free photos with Santa in front of the Golder Ranch fire truck. And I think that's an essential thing to point out, because sure, Catalyst in the Tucson Mall, and so is Santa Claus, but that Santa Claus charges an arm and a leg for a photo with him. You can go hang out at this great event and get a free photo for your kids with Santa right there on December 2nd and 3rd. Tell us all about this great big event happening in the town of Oro Valley.
Absolutely. Well, Powers, you already covered most of it for me, so I'll just step out.
Hey, listen, I stole this off the
Just kidding.
website. In fact, you probably wrote that. Who knows?
You're right. I did. I did.
So that is it.
Funny
But
how
yeah,
it comes all around.
Right?
But,
so tell us about it, because I've been to it. I've been to it
Yeah.
several times. I'm going to be at it this year. I love it. It's one of my
Perfect.
favorite events. Super fun. The weather's with us, always there. It's nice. It's crisp.
Yep.
That's a good time. And again, Santa Claus is there. He's my friend. Used to be my old roommate. Hang out with Santa Claus all the time. So Tell us
Really?
about this event.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is our 13th annual Oro Valley Holiday Festival of the Arts and Tree Lighting Celebration. And as you said, it's engaging the community of Oro Valley and anyone throughout southern Arizona that wants to come around and have a family friendly block party with Santa, numerous family activities including cookie decorating, strolling carolers, sing-alongs, a holiday puppet show. There's going to be the works. We'll have a main stage where we're going to host the tree lighting and a subsidiary stage as well.
Mm-hmm.
So between those two stages, we'll have a number of different performances and so on and so forth from local talent, including over 500 student and community performers.
That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So we're engaging the local community. There's Wilson Elementary Choir, Cross Middle Choir. Let's see, the McGuire Academy of Irish Dance.
Yes, I've seen
Yeah.
them, and they're great.
Yeah, they really are.
This is what I love about events like this. Again, it's just to go get a seat, and it's a smorgasbord of all these fun talents. I love watching kids perform because A, adorable, B, sometimes so impressive.
The future. Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
And it's so fun. And again, so I have like a kids-based business. I'll be out there having a good time teaching kids some art, doing some projects, but really talking to these kids is so much fun, and especially the fun, talented performer kids that are out
Right.
there either dressed as marching gear or in their full playing instruments, and they're so incredible. Tell me about some of the other things that we're going to see and some of the other fun stuff that's like your favorite stuff to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to loop back around to your last point, it is so impressive to see the kids perform and see who's really going to stand out and potentially be that rising artistic force in Tucson and potentially beyond. Because we'll have the McGuire Academy of Irish Dance, for instance, and then go back around to the Saguaro Stompers Clog Dance and the Sonoran Soul Cloggers. You might be able to make that connection and say, like someone from this kids group will be in this group later on in life.
Yes.
But as for what I'm excited about, there are firstly it's one of SAACA's major missions to give a space to local artists. So we'll have over 150 artisans there selling their wares. So this is a great opportunity for, you're out in the Tucson area, Oro Valley area, you're looking for a stocking stuffer, a Christmas gift. Well, we have 150 artists spanning all mediums and prices. So we have it's a perfect holiday shopping experience for you to buy local and support local art. Jewelers, painters, glass and ceramic makers, metal sculptures, mixed media, photographers, recycled art. There's a painted sunglass shop that I may be stopping by myself to wear something nice and wacky over the new year. You know,
I love wacky.
Absolutely. You should stop by.
I plan on being there the entire time. Believe me, dressed to the nines, having a good time.
Absolutely.
I think that some of my favorite stuff when it comes to artists, because again, it's like going to a nice big outdoor mall, right? There's a lot of opportunities, and we know that Small Business Saturday sure does exist, and it just happened yesterday. But here in Tucson, it's always a good time for small businesses, a lot of them. And that's essentially what you're supporting out there. You have 150 small businesses and individuals that create art, a lot of handmade art, a lot of one-of-ones, a lot of only things you can get there. A lot of gorgeous, I saw a lot of metallic prints there at one of the last events. Mind-blowing. I saw a lot of good... like, what are they when you see, we have the gem show and all that stuff, but there's a lot of good examples of stuff like that out there.
Right.
Big geodes, gems, lots of good, amazing stuff that looks great in your home that you don't find at a lot of other events around town. I see them only seasonally at this event. So it's nice when you go to these holiday markets because you're going to attract some different folks and different artists selling different stuff that's only seasonal. I love one-of-one ornaments. Personally, Tucson's a great place for ornaments because no one else has ornaments that represent Tucson like those cactuses. Yeah. So good to fun, send gifts. So think about that. Always shopping small, supporting local individuals, supporting any one of these tents is just another small business here in town. Personally, I give the kettle corn guy a little too much money because I love it so much. But that's my favorite thing. I love kettle corn, so I always go for that. What are some of the food trucks? You know some of the food trucks that might be out and about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at our Oro Valley Fall Artisan Market about a month ago, I learned about the wonders of chocolate-dipped cheesecake from the San Francisco Chocolate Company. It's just as...
He's catching his breath.
Yeah, I'm catching my breath. I'm trying to find the right descriptor. It's just as oomph as you would expect, and all of the wonderful and every connotation associated with that. So that they will be there again. They will be selling their wonderful chocolate dip cheesecake, their apple crisps, and so on and so forth.
What is your to you? What's your most decadent dessert? Because mine is cheesecake. To me, it's like cheesecake, and then right under that's like a brownie.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like my all right. Let's have some fun today. Like I don't eat cheesecake often. It's just then.
So I'll give a shout out to I'm Filipino.
Okay.
And something that's been catching on from our like food culture in the States rampantly in the last year is ubi. It's a purple sweet potato, essentially a purple yam. Stick that in ice cream and turn it around. It is very good. Mix it up with some macapuno coconut. Yeah, yeah, do the thing. Otherwise, like a traditional American dessert, like maybe I'm all for apple pie a la mode or a pineapple upside down cake. But I'm with you. Pretty much anything and everything.
Heck yeah. How about salsas? I know when we go to these things, you see some spicy hot sauces, some spicy salsas, local stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. It is one of my favorite community events. Again, if you just joined us right now, it's Lifestyle Tucson. All right, we're hanging out, talking with the Southern Arizona Arts and Cultural Alliance. I've got my man, Jonathan Frahm, Marketing and Events Manager of SAACA. That's what we call it for short. Talking about the big event that's going to be happening, their big art festival, the holiday tree lighting on December 2nd and 3rd. We're all going to be out there celebrating, having a good time. Let's talk about some other annual events that you got going on, because again, SAACA does a lot of great stuff, and it really is all about getting out in the community and throwing these things. I've been fortunate enough to be involved in tons of these fun events, whether I'm out there with the comic book mobile or whether I'm out there as an MC or a host trying to find, one of the best margaritas in town. So it's really fun. Tell me about some of these other pinnacle events that you guys throw.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're kind of right in the throes of event planning season for us right here. It's we'll spend a few weeks like with the Christmas tree lighting celebration that's coming up in Oro Valley on December 2nd and 3rd. We'll spend a few weeks planning, and next thing you know, it's the very next thing, the very next thing, the very next thing. And it's great. It's a great pace, and we're so excited to bring so many events to the community. Because, one of our major goals is, again, to be that in-between between the artistic community and other regional voices to make these events happen. So we're cultivating programming that spotlights our culture, across many mediums. Sometimes that's funding a local mural or an art installation, or engaging in a photography competition with a local community. We just debuted one in Sarita this last year.
Oh, really?
Which was a lot of fun. And working on these major community-wide art festival establishments, again, like the holiday tree lighting celebration.
One of my favorites is the Chalk Festival.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the Chalk Festival and made one of my best memories there.
Really? What was that?
Well, I brought all this chalk, and then again, I'm the kids' business. So then, the kids are coming over and they're doing whatever. But it's fun when the kids are starting to draw different things. And when I teach kids, what do you think they end up drawing? They draw me. So all these kids had drawn a bunch of fun stuff on the ground, but then they drew me.
Yeah.
And they wrote on it, because you're fun, funny, and nice. And they spelled nice, N-I-S. And I was just like, this is the best, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was adorable.
Yeah.
And funny, we had I put on my Instagram, I put a funny video of like, I had a company meeting because I had a bunch of kids inside the bus. And I said, what does this thing need? And they go, well, it needs a disco ball. I bought a disco ball yesterday for the bus. So it's funny how things connect. But that Chalk Festival was one of the best things I've ever been a part of. I got to be the MC and the host for the salsa, taco, and tequila challenge.
Oh, and you did great.
That was a lot of fun. All right. Then we did the Margarita Festival is another thing you're in charge of.
Yep.
These are all Ventana Canyon Resort, and they were excellent.
Right.
They were excellent. One of them, again, we had Lucha Libre at the Margarita.
Yeah, that was our first foray with the Prophet and his organization. I have been to and have not planned anything like it, but I'm looking forward to doing it again next year. So that's largely like in my lane. We all wear many hats at SAACA. We all have our own titles, but we all kind of swap hats around every so often to make the business continue going. So one of my major roles in the last couple of months here has been developing those culinary events in particular. So again, like Salsa Taco Tequila the energy was so strong. That was probably my favorite event to date.
Yeah.
That I've been a part of.
Loved it. And you saw about the Prophet from Rockstar Wrestling Alliance. The only reason I double back to it, I gave a TED Talk with that man.
Really?
Yeah, go check it out. Go look up You Ain't Better Than Pro Wrestling. That's my
Nice.
TED Talk and my love letter to professional wrestling that I did with the Prophet. And
Amazing.
yeah, it was really, really good. And that's the thing that you guys talk about. You do wear a lot of hats, and I know where you hang your hat. And it is at the Tucson Mall over at Catalyst, the creative collective. And you've been doing that and really being very successful with it because I had the opportunity. We were going to have you on earlier in the year, but you gotta make sure you're doing things right. And I don't want to be talking about the wrong things. I was the artist in residence at Catalyst. I didn't want to have you on the radio while I was doing that. I wanted to wait till the program was over so we could talk about it. And ever since then, I have watched each month as your newest artist in residence each month has been putting on a pinnacle event unlike any that were happening before I got involved in there. And the Artist in Residence program at Catalyst, I think, has become a rocket ship in just the past few months. It's been so impressive what you're doing. I know you're even teaming up with Tucson Foodie to activate the culinary kitchen that's there. And if you've never checked out Catalyst in the Tucson Mall, you should. There's a lot of community space in there, some great partners with the Esperanza Dance Studio. They have a spot there and they teach kids how to dance. I know there's summer camps there. So go on and on for me right now about Catalyst. You hear how excited I am. The time I spent there was incredible, and this is a call to action to any artist out there to apply, and you can go do that on their website. I'll give you all those details in a little bit. Tell me more about Catalyst and what's going on at the Tucson Mall.
Totally. Well, thank you so much, and it's we're so happy to see it consistently grow and become more of the space that we've always wanted it to be. Which I mean, it was founded out of a need for this collaborative community space within our artistic community to and it's also one of the coolest places ever to just call your workspace.
Yep.
It's like prior to this job it was always, I guess I'm going to go to work today. But
Yes.
now it's like, I'm going to work today.
Yeah.
Because we're in a 14,000 square foot fun house essentially, with great art perched everywhere. As you say, pinnacle events happening all the time in our culinary kitchen. Again, Esperanza Dance Studios, Amazing Labs, many of our local partners. We and every so often with our culinary guests too. It's a unspoken perk of the job. Maybe you can come in and sample some of the wares. Make sure that they're ready to go out to the greater community. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I also know Angela's down there doing Art Mixer right there at Catalyst all the
Right.
time for drop-in fun art events. You can have birthday parties there. She was always a great person when I was having my artist in residency there. So it really is just a great opportunity for a lot of people in town to get more involved. And honestly, I want you to even do even more at Catalyst.
Yeah.
But you can't do it without more people showing up.
Absolutely.
So people got to show up to Catalyst. How can people really keep track of everything going on with SAACA?
So we have a handy dandy website. Visit us at SAACA.org. That's SAACA.org. That includes all of our festival events, like the one we're having in Oro Valley that we've been talking about for the holidays, but also all of our Catalyst programming. So there are culinary classes, dance classes, yoga classes, art mixer, everything under the sun in the artistic landscape is happening at Catalyst, including, again, with our excellent artist in residence, which once upon a time included yourself, sir.
I know. I made a lot of memories and really experimented a lot and figured out a lot of new programs that I offer to kids.
Yeah.
One of the things I came up with was the best idea ever, and I do it everything now, is I do a sticker swap, and I have redefined stickers to them like it's cash.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious because they'll come in, it's adorable. They bring their little suitcase or their lunchbox with their sticker collection. I bought 10,000 stickers for real because that's what's fun. And then they're like, oh, I'll trade you this sticker. And I'm like, wow, that one's really good.
Yeah.
I'll give you 5 stickers for that one. And they're like, what? So it blows their minds that I'll do that. And some of these stickers are giant bumper stickers or stuff from my sticker collection. And it's really fun to have discovered that for kids.
Absolutely.
One of the other mistakes I made was I bought a bouncy house. So I thought that would be great fun for my children's entertainment business. And I often am not like, oh, it's either you or a bouncy house. And I will sometimes lose to the bouncy house. So I'm like, I'll buy one for myself.
Yep.
The problem is The kids now don't care about coloring. They don't want to draw. They don't want to watch me do anything. They want to jump around, right?
I hear you.
And also now I'm worried about all these kids bonking their heads
Oh.
and doing whatever. So even SAACA had said, hey, we have an event and you could even bring bouncy house. And I'm like, no, I think I'm actually going to give away the bouncy house. It's just not worth the stress or whatever. And again, I instantly realized, I'm like, oh, this ruined my message of teaching kids art.
Mm-hmm.
The parents were coming in and the parents were upset. They're like, we came here to learn something, but all the kid wanted to do was bounce in that house. So I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll one day sell that or give it to somebody.
Part ways with the
but
old
it was
bouncy
a
house.
great way to experiment for all my programs, experiment for some of what I do as a creative, and get feedback from parents right there, from kids, asking kids what they liked more, what they liked best. So again, go, if you are a visual artist, if you know a visual artist, not even just visual, if you're a musician, if you are doing dance, there's all these different opportunities, especially for, I know that you're looking to get more cultural diversity in there and some of those programs, right? Get involved. Tell people about SAACA. Tell them about Catalyst at the Tucson Mall, because guess what? You know how your Read Radios did? 17,000 people listened to this first listen. That's a lot more than YouTube, right? You know how you hear the mall is dead? I was there every weekend, and boy, thousands of people seem to walk by that storefront wondering what's going on and excited there was someone there to tell them about it. So don't think that things are dead or dying yet. They're not. There's a lot of great stuff, and the malls are trying to redefine themselves by being more entertainment hubs. Arcades are back. There's more bouncy things there right outside of yours. They can do this trampoline thing, right? And Catalyst has a lot of fun events. We put on a sketch comedy show there. I know that you put on other styles of performance. There's there used to be a theater in the Tucson malls. It's still there. Is there still a theater there?
Not at the Tucson Mall, but at Park Place there is.
Park Place, there's a theater. So your malls are not what you think. They've become entertainment hubs for your family to go check out and find some fun community activities. Just get involved. Go to their website. I'm willing to bet there's probably a newsletter as well.
There is.
Sign up for that so that the invitations come right to you in your email, and get involved with Catalyst and the Creative Collective and everything happening at SAACA.
But you've been to the Tucson Mall lately. I mean, there's 70 to 80% of it's full with local business, which is awesome. I mean, by the time we're done with the Tucson Mall, I think SAACA and Games and Gadgets are going to run the whole place.
Right? Because today, we made friends with Jonathan Frahm, Marketing and Events Manager of Southern Arizona Arts and Cultural Alliance, strengthening the bonds between people, place, and purpose through collaborative, arts-driven experiences. Thanks for joining me today, Jonathan.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
It was real, and it was good just talking to you after hanging out as much as we did, and as little as we did.
Yeah,
it was fun to make friends in the community.
Totally.
And this was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing, time for a recap. What a great conversation I had with Jonathan. It was nice to actually make friends with him after spending a little bit of time with him this past summer when I was the artist in residence at SAACA at Catalyst in the Tucson Mall. I implore any artist out there, and this could be dance, performance, film, writing, visual arts, all these different forms of art. Go apply. Go to their website for the Southern Arizona Cultural Alliance. It's over at SAACA.org, SAACA.org. You can go follow Tucson Catalyst at Tucson Catalyst. You can also follow SAACA at ArtsAZ on Instagram. Make sure you give them a like on Facebook, facebook.com/SAACA. But if you're an artist, I implore you to try out and apply to be one of their artists in residence. It was a great program, gave me a lot of time to explore and try some new things. Make sure you come hang out for their big art festival starting at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The tree lighting's at 6 p.m. on December 2nd, the Oro Valley Festival of the Arts and Holiday Tree Lighting Celebration. I'll be out there having a good time with over 130 artisans, 30 performances by students, local musicians, family, fun activities, and TUBACHRISTMAS. And don't forget Santa's going to be there. Free photos for all the kids and some of us bigger kids with beards. But I want to thank our new friends at SAACA for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are culturally alive. Follow on Facebook, YouTube especially, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF Frank Powers, and Toot Toot Tucson. I love you the most.